Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Video channel. We got me, VGH, and once again, we got another new deck profile video. This time, Ceruledge, but we finally updated it to be super consistent. And by this, we're only running 8 basic Pokemon and the 8 evolutions of said Pokemon. 4 Charcadet, 4 Ceruledge, 4 Hoothoot, 4 Noctowl, that's it. For those of you guys who don't already know, Noctowl has the ability Jewel Seeker, which allows you to search up to 2 trainer cards from your deck and add them to your hand. Ceruledge's 1 Energy Abyssal Flames attack does 30 damage, plus 20 for each energy in your discard pile, which is why we run 19 different energies. Now, the reason why this works is because we have found a way to make it go fast. And by fast, I mean fast. So the 2 of boss orders is just that way you can pick and choose your most optimal attack in order to take a knockout, get your knockout, and get your prizes, so that way you stay on prize track so you can get your 2/2/2s to get all the way straight to winning the game. Next up is Carmine, which is a well-known card to the Ceruledge list, but we're using combo pieces like Noctowl to make Carmine and its other supporter combo, Firebreather, more effective. Carmine discards your hand, draws 5 cards. Firebreather says you can draw up to, search up to 7 fire energies from your deck and add them to your hand. This tags well with the other item in our deck, Hand Trimmer. So, it's very simplistic. You can go Energy Search Pro, Hand Trimmer, Energy Search Pro, Carmine, Firebreather, and Hand Trimmer. All of these different kinds of pieces combo off into giving you the biggest discard in one move that makes the most amount of sense. If you can get Ceruledge on the board, you evolve one of your Hootoots into Noctowl, you search out Firebreather, Hand Trimmer, Firebreather searches 7 cards into your hand. If you have extra Noctowls, you can play a Noctowl, add 2 cards to your hand. So now you have Firebreather get played, get 7 to your hand. Now you already have 7, plus a Hand Trimmer, so if you just played it right there, you'd be able to at least discard 2 energies, but if you have other cards, just normal Pokemon, items, tools, whatever, in your hand, you can just play out Hand Trimmer, discard all those cards. It also has the upside that, if you don't know what Hand Trimmer does, both you and your opponent have to discard until they have 5 cards in their hand. So if your opponent just happens to have a lot of cards in their hand, say Alakazam, you can just drop this, and they have to discard all the cards in their hand until they have 5 left, which is huge. And the same thing happens to you. So when you use Energy Search Pro, and you search one of every single energy out of your deck, you can use Hand Trimmer, discard everything, and then you can use the 1 fire energy you got to search out, equip it to Ceruledge, and still get to attack. Everything else in the deck is pretty much self-explanatory. Poké Pad can search out Noctowl. You can use Noctowl to search 1 card and a Poké Pad, so you can use the Poké Pad to search out another Noctowl. Ultra Ball allows you to discard 2, usually meant for the energies, but you can also throw away things like extra Buddy-Buddy Poffins or Tera Orbs if you don't need them. Buddy-Buddy Poffin, of course, to search out your Hoothoot Charcadets. Tera Orbs, so you can search out the Ceruledge, because you do need a Ceruledge on the board before you play the Noctowl. I kind of forgot that, because I'm not used to Noctowl, so I did make 2 or 3 games where I just threw down a Noctowl, went, I'll search something to fix this, and went, right, can't do that, and just conceded. Happens to us, happens to everybody. Blowtorch states that you can discard a fire energy from your hand to remove a special energy or a stadium from the board. So special energy from your opponent or a stadium, which works really well with Neo Upper Energy being a thing, the special Rocky Energy, Telepathic Energy, all those special energies that do exist right now. Blowtorch can remove them while also giving you a plus 20 to your overall attack with Ceruledge. And since we're running 12 energies anyway, it's just a good removal tool. I was fighting on whether or not I wanted to use, like, another stadium, like Gravity Mountain, but that doesn't really affect everything. So I'd rather just go with Blowtorch, which gives me the ability to discard an energy for value and also remove things from my opponent's board if necessary or if possible. So it's kind of like it's a catch-22, but that card can definitely be switched around. You know, you can even remove it entirely and just run 4 Tera Orb, 4 Buddy-Buddy Poffin to make the deck even more consistent. Up to you. Let's get into the games. I'll show you what we did and how entertaining the deck can really be. So, these are games that were run on stream. This was, I believe, Tuesday night stream. We streamed Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday from 6 o'clock to 9:30 during the weekdays, and a lot later during the weekends during our tournament streams. This was one of our matches that we actually got to go on stream. I think this was like our first match actually playing this deck, so it was like super fresh in our heads, and somehow I didn't make the dumb mistake of going, I will play Noctowl, because I had it. I just got a really good start. So, our first matchup is against Cynthia's, and they started up a Roselia, which is kind of good for us. Obviously, we have the fire type advantage there, and we were using a different Charcadet at the beginning. This one allows us to search 2 energies out of our deck with 1 energy, but I ran into Badoo being a huge problem because then we couldn't use Poké Pad or Hand Trimmer. So instead, I've switched out all of the old Charcadets, the 70 HP one with that ability, with the one that has 1 energy, 20 damage, because it can one-shot Badoo. I ran into 2 games where I did 1 energy, 10 damage, because that's the other attack that this Charcadet does, so it's, 20 on Badoo, but then it makes you sad because you only do 20 damage, and then my opponent had a Monkey Door. He moved the damage away, so I could never get rid of the Badoo until I found a Tera Pokemon, but I couldn't get to said Tera Pokemon because I couldn't use Tera Orb or Ultra Ball or Poké Pad to help me get Noctowl to search these things. So, pretty bad. The deck also has a bit of trouble, which is why we added the Blowtorches, and sometimes you might want to try and move some things around in the deck to maybe add stadiums, to add more Blowtorches, to add a way to remove a stadium, because there isn't really a good way to get rid of a stadium, and Team Rocket's Watchtower is really, really big in the meta, so I highly suggest trying to figure out the deck, because if you get hit by that and you are not prepared for it, you just kind of get bullied by 1 stadium. It does suck, but when you're not getting bullied by that 1 stadium, you get turns like this. My opponent is trying to keep me locked in, but I already have everything I need to continuously get more stuff. Here comes that Jules Freaker Firebreather Hand Trimmer. Yes, it's not affecting my opponent's hand, but if you look at my hand, I'm able to just, cool, get everything out. Now I have 8 energies, plus some other cards. So if I play Hand Trimmer, which I could have done it right there. I had 5 in my hand even after the Hand Trimmer, so I could have discarded, and like I could have got rid of most of my energies easily, so it's not really a big deal. I could have held 5 and then deleted all the other energies. But I used the Noctowl, search 2, so that way I have more cards in my hand, and then use Hand Trimmer, so that way I can super lower my hand out of energies. The deck only needs to have maximum 3 energies, because you're winning or losing with that. Maybe a few more for retreat cost, maybe, at most, but like, if your opponent tries to boss you up, it's 1 energy to retreat the Noctowl, so you're usually going to have like 1 or 2 held. And that was just enough for my opponent there. We opened the game with like nothing here, but we can work with it because of how we can just work with things. We wanted to get rid of the energies there. We're trying to figure out where I need to go with all these things. We have Tera Orb, but we also have Ceruledge in our hand, so I didn't want to give my opponent more knowledge, so I'm just kind of like, what do I do here? Hope for the best. That's what we do here. Because we have Ceruledge in hand, so we can evolve our Charcadet. We have Ultra Balls, so we can use it to get rid of whatever I draw into, plus Tera Orb, to find Noctowl, to go get Firebreather and Hand Trimmer, or to get Superior Energy Search Pro, whatever it's called, and then like a Carmine, so we can discard the rest of our energies. So we've already set up like enough to work with this. So we're just looking at it. I hated this because I had to get rid of a boss's orders, and I hate doing that. But very easily we just go into the Noctowl. You know, it didn't matter what we drew into. We needed to use it for specifically this combo. We find our A-Spec. We're checking all of our other stuff. Just looking. I could have went Poké Pad here. Do I end up doing it? Did I argue with myself enough? No, I did not. I could have went Poké Pad there to get another Noctowl. I could have gotten like Superior Energy Search Pro and then Poké Pad and used Pro and then used the pad to get the Noctowl and searched out. Like, I think I did do that, and I said Carmine is what I'm going to do, so what's the point, right? Because I just discard things. I don't think there's any other way to search energies out of the deck really easily, but very, very quickly we were able to figure this out. With that Carmine play, we threw away a bunch of energies we didn't need, and now we have another Ultra Ball. We have a boss's orders. So many energies are in the deck discard pile because of our first turn Carmine for 2, and our second turn Energy Search Pro into Carmine to draw a discard like 8 more. So, pretty useful. Now we just need to figure out what we do. Unfortunately, didn't have a Poké Pad. Really wish we had Poké Pad because we would have been able to go Poké Pad directly into Noctowl, but we're just like, what can we do here? We're just looking for stuff at this point. So, Dual Seeker Search, get the Firebreather, get the Poké Pad, get the Firebreather, search out the rest of the energies from our deck, check to see what we have. Because this is, to be honest, this deck does have a little bit when it comes down to, like, what do I have left to work with? Because you're able to get rid of energies so quickly, if you don't keep track of your energies, you might accidentally run into the situation of, like, what can I do? I grabbed the second bosses. It was super, like, unnecessary, but it's like, whatever. And now I'm just trying to get cards out of my discard, so that way I have the damage. I have 250 right now. I need one more in the discard. And we thought ahead already that if we energize our Ceruledge, you can remove 2 energies to get 2 more into the discard pile, boss up what we need, and then take a knockout. So, just as a heads up, the retreat cost is something you can take into consideration to add 2 energies to the discard pile. Just making sure you have a Ceruledge already set up. Like I said, if you do some maths, you have up to 19 energies, 18 that can be in the discard pile, and 1 attacker energy, realistically. You need at least 3 to make attacks, so that way you can, if one Ceruledge goes down, you have a backup Ceruledge. If another Ceruledge goes down, you have a backup Ceruledge again. So you're able to get that, 2/2/2 prizing. They have to take out the 2/2/2 prizing. And in which case you only need 3 energies to swing what you need to swing. It never happened, but there is a thought process that we do have 1 of every energy in the deck, and Ceruledge does technically have a second attack. So it is possible to do specifically that, where you actively collect to the 3 energies and manually attach to do 270 to discard 3 energies. I never believe there's a reason for this unless you actively start with one of those energies. Then maybe in the worst case scenario you could do it, but you're not getting 3 different energies on that Pokemon in one move. So simply put, it just doesn't work. We did run into a second Cynthia's, which this one did a lot better. It was able to actually get set up a little bit further where we did not have that time frame. So we do see a Gallade come up front to get the knockout. Fine by us. 1 more energy goes into the discard pile, but we do have a backup. Just do that simple simple Charcadet that we were able to get on the bench. We're setting up another one because reasons. We need to make sure that we have these setups here. This game took so long. Also, did you see every single animation went off on that? Did not need to. This game took so long that I actively forgot what I was doing. I'm pretty sure this is the game where I screw up and I still won because I wasn't paying attention. So yeah, by the way, that was just one quick move with the Noctowl into, Support Pro, into Carmine, into this amazing hand that we have here. Now we have a bunch of damage. We hit 250 already. My opponent just throwing Judge made me sad. We find Tera Orb and Ultra Ball, so we're kind of goated here. Get rid of the extra because we don't need it anymore. Well, I thought I didn't need it, but I realistically ended up needing it because it's, 5 prizes and not 6. Or not 4, because he took out a single prize instead of a double prize. Get that Firebreather out. Since we can't Carmine in the same turn, we went for the Hand Trimmer Pokeball play. I used the Hand Trimmer first, get rid of 2. Ultra Ball, get rid of 2 more. Goes to get a Ceruledge, so I can get Ceruledge down. And we have 1 extra energy. And we're hitting that 330, taking a knockout. My opponent does not have anything else set up. The best they can do is get a Blaziken down with its ability, allowing it to get a Fire Energy from the discard pile and a manual attach energy. You'd be able to do 200, but we'd be able to one-shot it backwards, and then we just have a backup Ceruledge. That was not the game that I was thinking of. Keep watching, you'll see what I meant. Yeah. Alright, this is when I switched the deck up. This was off-stream, I admit. This was after I was testing a few things. Blowtorch was a lot better because of the fact that I was able to clear things off that made it better. We were up against a Lucario player, and we got a pretty good start here. Unfortunately, since we did go first, we can't use Firebreather. But looking at the hand, Firebreather for 7, plus Hand Trimmer, Blowtorch, we got some pretty good options. Get rid of all the unnecessary energies, of course. Get the energy on the Charcadet. We're still swinging for 20. Since I know that Monkey Dory isn't in Lucario, there's no reason for me not to put the 20 damage on the Makuhita. Along with Hariyama's attack, is 3 energy, deal 70 to yourself, 3 energy, do 70 to yourself for 140, and they would survive with 10 HP. So technically, I was playing ahead, as long as you do 10 damage. And this must have been the one. So this is the one where I was off-stream and screwed it up. Good Firebreather removal, and then Carmine just to get a new hand. Very easy, because we've already used Firebreather, so we've already gotten 7 out of the deck for energies. So it's not worth it to play a second Firebreather, because we only run 12, so there'd only be 5 remaining, and we still had more than that already, so wasn't necessary. 2 energy does get the big knockout, and I was afraid at that point because I'm like, we got nothing to work with. An insane top deck. Good thing when you have 4 into another insane 5-card draw, which allows us to get more cards to set up to continue the game. Jewel Seeker gets us our Energy Search. I went Poké Pad here because I can go into double Ultra Balls if I needed to, but getting every card out of the deck is also pretty nice. Using this to get more cards in our hand for another big play. I wanted to go, so I'm setting up for the next turn, and if I need to, I have another Ultra Ball play. Got it. And then Hand Trimmer, I kind of screwed it up because I could have kept the Fire Energy in my hand and then discarded the Steel Energy. But I still Ultra Ball this turn because I wanted to get the damage up. We have 310. So this is the scary part because we have 310 damage. If my opponent takes a knockout on me, then I only have 1 energy going to the discard pile, and I have no other discard in my hand. The only option that I have for discard is using my Noctowl there, searching out an Ultra Ball and getting energy gone, but I still need an energy to attack because I don't have a backup energy. So I'm kind of in a locked position where it's really not great for me. But luckily, the deck was not prepared enough, didn't have another energy for it, so we only have 3 prizes to get. If I can get to that point, we win the game. So we're just thinning, checking what we have. I have an Ultra Ball, so I have an opportunity. I just need to find the energies somehow, and I thought, I can't get there. There's no way I can search out anything in my deck to save me. If I had that Blowtorch or another energy in my hand, I'd be okay, but I got nothing that I can do. So I will energize, retreat back, so that way I can get 2 energy in the discard pile, and that way I'll be okay. And then I just want to thin the deck out a little bit more to try and hopefully get those energies. And so I'm just going, all right, well, I can't search anything, so I'll just take any 2 random cards out of my deck. I should have used both of them, to be honest, because that way I could thin my deck out a little bit more in essence of a judge that could have just dunked on me. But I just thought it was over. I forgot that his first takedown was a single prize Pokemon. So I forgot when he took out my Ceruledge over there, which you might have seen him might have cut. When he took out my Ceruledge, I'm like, oh, game's over. Okay, well, I tried. And then he still had 1 prize left. I'm like, we can still win that. Let's go. And then we ended up actually winning the match. So, yeah, never concede. And remember how many prize cards your opponent has, because I didn't do that. We open goated the 1 of 1 into a Hand Trimmer. We also need an energy in order to retreat. So I should have played, I kept doing this where I would put the energy down because I'm like, that's the right thing to do. And then I remember it's not, because it should be Hand Trimmering first. Also, that took 7 years for my opponent to use Judge, or to throw away 1 card from their hand, and they threw away Judge because they knew I was Hand Trimmer, so it didn't matter. Was this guy slow? He might have been slow, because it looks like he played Zeraora and then waited 55 seconds to play Ultra Ball. Cool. Anyway. I believe this was the Electros player. Yes, I like this deck. I'm not gonna lie to you, I love Electros. It's just not good. Like, it's got positive and negative, but it's just really kind of awkward, because you can use the Mega Manectric, but there isn't really a lot of, like, single prize, like, big basic decks, so it's pretty bad. Also, gotta love weakness, right? I get my Pokemon, I check my Ultra Ball, I throw away all my stuff, because we're gonna go into Firebreather anyway, so I'm like, I don't need anything, so Firebreather for 7, retreat for 1, even though that didn't matter, because Noctowl is also 1 energy retreat cost. For some reason, I thought it was 2. Set myself up for multiple turns. Try to figure out what I need to do here, because my opponent's Pokemon is 100 HP. It didn't really make that big of a difference, but we're setting up for the rest of the game. Ultra Ball clears. Set up for an Noctowl for next turn, just so I can get a bunch more damage. And in one swift motion, as soon as we can get the Ceruledge, we're hitting 230. Big basic Pokemon denied, I guess, living at that point. We just delete them. And that was just one move, you know? We use 1 card to search every energy out of our deck and another card to throw it all away, and then we just get huge damage. And you can usually just do that 2 turns in a row. With Firebreather gets 7 out of the deck, and you throw them all away. And then you can use Super Energy Search... I keep saying Super Energy Search Pro. It's not. Energy Search Pro to get 1 of every energy, which is another 8, by the way, and then throw all those out. Noctowl into Jewel Seeker, so now we can just kind of, like, get more of our combo pieces, you know, find some more stuff, you know. We're looking like, all right, well, we already hit for 230. How do we get to more damage? check how many energies are in the deck. Firebreather bad now because there's only 2 energies left. We have 4 in our hand, so I'm like, okay, so we'll use Carmine to discard the 4 in our hand, and that way we can kind of work around this. And since we're going to be using Carmine to throw it away anyway, it's like, okay, what can we do? We Carmine Chuck, get the card I was going to go for anyway. I couldn't use Ultra Ball for that. That's my own fault. Hit for the Abyssal Flames for a knockout. Again, I could have used Ultra Ball, searched out the Carmine, probably got another card in my hand. If it was specifically Ultra Ball, I could have discarded another energy, but it still would have only hit for 31. So I need at least 2 more energies in the discard pile. But since we're in the Mega matchup and we did take that first prize card, I'm reading what Mega Electros does. I was seeing if they could figure it out and try and beat me, but at this point it's already over. But because I can deal with a Mega Pokemon and I do still have Boss's Orders in the deck, I can still bring up the Mega Electros as damage and take that guy out. I can deal with a Mega... Did I say... I might have said that backwards. I can deal with Mega Electros and Mega Manectric and hit them with one-shot attacks. This is me trying to get another energy in the discard pile, so I'm able to set up Noctowl. Noctowl with an energy, because 1 energy went to the discard pile, so now I'm hitting for 31. I can retreat the Noctowl, throw those out because I'm not using them because I already threw away a Noctowl, so I can't get to the 4th Noctowl regardless of what I do. And now I'm hitting for 330, so I get the knockout. And now it's just, I can one-shot Mega Electros, any 2-prizer, or the remaining 40 HP on this Mega Manectric and get the knockout. And now my opponent's trying to figure out what he can do because he has a free retreating Mega Electros. Or Mega Manectric, keep saying that messed up. Mega Manectric, but it's not realistically going to do anything, and Electros, or Electric, can only attach to the bench. So even if he could get a knockout on my Ceruledge here, he's only going to go to 2 prizes remaining, and then my last Ceruledge is on the bench, can just get a Fire Energy and win the game. We got hit by the judge, but thankfully it didn't matter. We also got the Ultra Ball, funny enough. I can discard that Lightning Energy if I need to. Which, the Lightning Energy came from my prizing, which is why it didn't get thrown away when we used Energy Search Pro. We didn't find it originally to throw it away. That's like the one, like, real negative. My opponent was able to clear, like, 1 more, but it was never going to be enough. Toss out the stuff we don't need, more damage, and now we got 37. We had 33, so we need to get at least 1 more energy to the discard pile, so Ultra Ball did that. So you guys can see that you can scale to 300 damage in, like, over 2 turns. In 1 move, you can use Energy Search Pro and Carmine to throw away 8 energies instantly, or at least 7, because if you put 1 Fire Energy down, you can get at least 7 gone, and have a pretty high chance, because you have run 4 Ultra Balls and a bunch of energy, to pick up another energy, and then Ultra Ball that away to set up your next turn or something along those lines. And if not, you can use Noctowl to help you get more stuff. It's so linear, but it's just so simply good. I do hope you guys enjoyed the deck, and if you guys have anything you would want to do to add to this deck, let me know. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Ceruledge is back, baby!